Alright, before I start spouting opinions in this video, I need you guys to understand that out of the past 5 to 6, honestly, I would even say decade, my favorite game, especially on the Switch, and like I said, maybe even just the entire past decade, is Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and combined with that, Torna especially makes it a fully fleshed package with essentially 2 games. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a very important game to me. On a personal level, the characters, the gameplay, the music, everything about Xenoblade Chronicles 2 blew me away when I played it, and that was coming off of trying to play Xenoblade 1 on the Wii and the 3DS and just not really vibing with it. I finally beat it earlier this year. It took me a while, and I don't like it as much as 2. And I know that's not really the popular opinion. 2 does have some, if you're not into anime cringy stuff, I get it, I do. But that's my stance on Xenoblade Chronicles as it is. 2 is my favorite game of all time, almost probably, and 1 I think is a good game, but nowhere near that level for me. I just stayed up until 4 a.m. beating Xenoblade Chronicles 3 before release. If you watched my video on Saturday, I did do a kind of early impressions video going over my thoughts 20 hours into the game. Well, I beat it, and I cannot believe I am saying this. I've had many ups and downs throughout this game. I think I like it more than 2, which is unbelievable. It's unbelievable. When I tell you, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, when I beat that game in January of 2018, because it came out in December, I kept thinking about it all year long. Literally the entire year until Torna came out, and then I was thinking about Torna for another year. I don't do that with video games. I don't replay video games. When they added New Game Plus to Xenoblade 2, I played New Game Plus. I do not do this. Especially when there's no trophies involved, Nintendo. So that game hooked me. So when I say I think Xenoblade Chronicles 3 might be better, you better damn believe it is a good game. So, of course, reviews went out on Tuesday. I think it's at an 89 on Metacritic. JRPGs are always going to get a little bit of a bad rap, just inherently. If Xenoblade's already your jam, guys, rest assured, you are going to you're going to sparking love this game, as Uni would say. So I'm going to get into this. I am going to talk about some spoiler stuff at the end. Of course, I will warn you guys before I mention that. Of course, the game's not out yet. I did get my early copy, luckily, on eBay, completely by chance. I wasn't trying to get an early copy. I just saw it, and there it was, and it worked out perfectly. And thank you all so much for the support on that video, by the way. So let me talk about... I'm not going to go super in-depth here. This is not scripted, as you can tell. It's 4 a.m. I'm tired, guys. I'm just going to talk about everything in kind of a broader sense. So let's just start with the combat, because that's typically what people think of when they think of Xenoblade. Just like, okay, which one has this combat? So 1 and X kind of have the same thing, then 2 has its own thing, and then Torna kind of has similar thing to the 2. If you prefer 1's combat, I am sorry. This is Xenoblade 2. This game is Xenoblade 2, but refined to the absolute maximum points of polish. The combat in this game is so damn good. I was worried. I was worried when they showed that you have 6 party members at a time. 7 with a hero. I was worried. I thought it was going to be too much. You know, people always complain about Xenoblade 2's tutorials, and I get it. It isn't really explained that well, especially chain attacks and the orbs and stuff. Everything in this game is explained very, very well. Interlinking, the Ouroboros forms, doing chain attacks, which that's one thing I'm not sure if I like more than 2. I think getting the orbs on enemies in 2 and then doing the chain attack and bursting them all, that was very satisfying. The chain attacks in this game are very satisfying as well, with the different class types, and then doing the tactical point thing. You'll understand more what I'm talking about when you play it. It's hard to explain. It's still very satisfying. I'm not sure if it quite reaches that satisfaction level of 2, but having not done any post-game stuff, having not done any like big overworld bosses, you know, level 99 Gonzolas or whatever, having not done that, whereas I did it in 2, right now, I think I would probably prefer the chain attacks in 2, but having each hero have different chain attack properties certainly makes each hero more unique, and it just adds more variety. So overall, it probably is better. I think most people will like it more, but I don't know, just the satisfaction of bursting or breaking those orbs in 2 was very fun. So across the board, the combat it's the best in the series. It's probably the best of any JRPG I've played, to be completely honest with you. Obviously, if you like turn-based combat, you like turn-based combat. But in terms of like a real-time kind of like action RPG with cooldowns, this is untouchable. They added the ability to switch characters during the game. They added the fusion arts, so and with the class system, so you inherit arts from other classes. So you basically have 6 regular arts at all times. Once you get everything unlocked, I think it's like level 40 you unlock it. So that's pretty late into the game, but still, once you get there, you'll know. So you have 6 arts at a time, 3 of which you inherit from other classes. So it really adds this flexibility of like, okay, I'm gonna make sure I can have my smash topple combo going at all times, basically, with all characters. And what's really interesting is with the Agnes and Kevis kind of setup with the game, which we're not gonna go into plot too much here until the very end when I want to talk about one thing in particular. You have arts that charge based on how many times you're actually hitting the enemy, which is like Xenoblade 2. I kind of get it mixed up in my brain sometimes. And then Xenoblade 1, it just recharges on time. So you'll have arts from Xenoblade 1 that kind of just recharge on time, and then arts from Xenoblade 2 that are based on how much you're hitting the enemy with your regular auto attack, which just adds for just this mix of gameplay. And like, I know people post the screenshots of the UI and how cluttered it looks. When you're playing the game and you know what you're doing, it's seamless. It's just so smooth. You don't need to look. You don't even need to like look at the screen. Almost like you ascend beyond once you learn the combat. And I don't know how it'll be for newcomers because it builds so much off of Xenoblade 2's combat. I don't know. I think I just adapted very quickly because of that. So if you're going to this without playing 2, I would say just make sure you're paying a lot of attention to the tutorials. The tutorials are very helpful, but once again, I'm a little bit blinded by the fact that I've played 2 so much, and it is very similar to 2's combat. So the combat in this game is fantastic. And also, I guess I'll just mention music real quick. I'm not a music critic here. The music in this game is so damn good, including that battle theme. I'm not going to compare the battle theme to other Xenoblade games. All the battle themes are damn incredible. But I was talking to my girlfriend about this because she was humming the main theme because she's been in the room so much as I've been playing this all week, grinding it out. I was like, damn, it must be so stressful being the composer of a game where you're going to hear this battle theme 1,000 times in an 80-hour JRPG. That has to be so stressful, and yet they still managed to deliver. The soundtrack in this game is fantastic. The lyric song is really moving, especially at the moment that when you hear it, which is later in the game than 2 happened. So yes, combat fantastic. Just a lot of quality of life stuff too. Well, like I said, you can change characters during combat, which also just adds variety. So I don't need to delve into that too much. But that's also really good. Interlinking, of course. Overworld stuff, just a couple of random things they did that I really appreciate. When you're being targeted by an enemy or like while you're in combat, you can actually just run and grab items. Great change. In other games, it would like disappear. They added the kind of like trail so you know where you're going. If there was a couple times in 2 where I just got lost, and that's kind of the point of these games. You want to have it's the exploration, so like some people might not like this, and you can turn it off. It's very simple to target. You just press ZL and then Y. But they can show you a trail of directly where you need to go for the quest you have selected. Even for a side quest, even for you can't do markers. Well, you can put down markers, but you can't like put a path on that. So if you're kind of new to open world games like this, no worries. Just put on the little marker thing, and you'll have your red trail of sense leading you right to where you need to go. Just a lot of quality of life stuff like that this game really does well. Let's talk about the plot and the characters. Let's talk about characters first, because plot will be somewhat in the spoilers. Characters, I think I can avoid spoilers. So this was my big issue with this game, I think, at first. And I think I mentioned this in my video on Saturday when I did my early impressions 20 hours in. I was not loving the characters, especially in comparison to 2. Xenoblade 1 characters, Dunban's good. That's about it for me. That's a little bit harsh, but I think 2's cast clowns on 1. And I was not super in love with 3's cast for, I would say, a good 20 hours. They're good from right off the bat, but like I wasn't super invested. I wasn't sold on these characters and their struggle and why I should care. Obviously, the plot is very, very dark, and they hit you with it pretty quick. But because you're introduced to all 6 characters very early on in the first chapter, I wasn't, it's harder to develop a relationship with these characters mentally for me, where in Xenoblade 2 and even Xenoblade 1, you get the cast throughout the entire course of the game, essentially. In this, you get it all at once, and then you get heroes after. So it was it was impressive to see Monolith Soft juggle this, where you're having 6 characters at once be introduced, as well as other side characters throughout the entire game, and trying to build them all up at once. I think, for what it's worth, they did a pretty damn good job. And by the time you're at, I think it's the end of chapter 5, which is majority of the way through the game, there is the moment. No spoilers, of course, but that is the moment, like, I shed a tear, man. Like, this game is deep. The characters are deep. You feel for these characters. You feel for their struggle. It just took me a while to get there. I will say, I don't know if Uni needs to exist. Uni is probably, like, my least favorite. She's fine. There's nothing wrong with Uni. I have nothing against Uni. She's, like, the only character that doesn't really have a lot going on. And that's even after doing, like, her extra side quests and stuff. So, yeah, Uni's fine. The other ones are great, though. I love Lance. I love Senna. Of course, Noah and Mio. Noah, I was really kind of worried about at first, too, especially because he's the main character. And once again, introducing all 6 characters at once, it kind of took the focus off of him for a while. They focus on the side characters for the majority of the game, and then Noah really comes in towards the end, him and Mio, of course. So for a while there, it kind of feels like Noah is more of just like a blank slate, kind of like Shulk, you know, he's just kind of calm, cool, and collected, and that's fine. I prefer Rex over Shulk because I like that Rex is a stupid hothead, kinda. He has more personality, for me. I know most people don't agree with that. That's fine. We can have different opinions, guys. I got a few comments about that on my last video, like, you're completely wrong. Xenoblade 1's better. It's fine. We can disagree. Noah, I think, is really good by the end of it. For a while there, like I said, because they're focusing on the side characters, it's a little bit hard to get to know him as much. But I think they do their best with the writing with the time they had. Yeah, all the characters are really good except for, I would say, Uni. Just, it's not that she's not bad, not good. It's just like there's not much going on with her compared to the other characters. And then let's talk about the heroes. I was really surprised with this, guys. I was really surprised. So Xenoblade 2 had blades, and you had to summon them, and it was like this a lot of fan service, I will admit. Mostly female blades, and they added basically new classes to characters, but it was really monotonous how they did it because, well, one, you had to grind out the core crystals to summon them, and B, when you summon them to a character, they were stuck on that character until you did some post-game stuff, so they were basically stuck on that character. In this game, you have these hero quests, which are similar to Blade quests, but they're hero quests, and they have fully voiced cutscenes as high quality as the main plot. You're fighting the bad guys, like the main villain group, you're fighting through these side optional quests. And the way the class system works is typically a hero will have kind of like a more of a bond with one of the main 6. So, I'm not going to get into spoilers here. I was about to say one that is definitely a spoiler. I'm not going to say that. But you'll have a hero that certainly is more associated with, like, Taion or something, right? And when you get that hero added, Taion is kind of the class inheritor. So you have to get Taion to level 10 with that class so that other characters can learn it. It is very straightforward. It is very clean. There is a lot of heroes in the game, not as many blades, or not as many as there were blades in 2, but because of how much effort they put into the story and just integrating these characters into the plot and making them feel a part of this world of Ionios, I think it's a much worthy payoff. I did not do all the blade quests in 2 on my first playthrough. I think I'm missing 2 right now in Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I could have done it. I wanted to get this video out. I'm going to go back and play New Game Plus, which... there is a New Game Plus, by the way, which is really nice because I think 2 was an update for that, so that's really good. So yeah, there's do them all. If you're watching this video and you haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles, do every hero quest. The hero quests are defined by the yellow icon. Every yellow icon you see with the exclamation point, do them, because they basically feel like main plot. Sometimes they actually require you to do them through the main plot, which is really funny. They also have you do some random side quests, which are as like a required thing, which is just kind of funny. But the hero quests feel as high quality as some of the main plot. Some of the stories with the heroes is as touching as some of the stuff in the main plot. I am shocked by how well they did that. So, with that said, I think we can talk about plot. Actually, well, this kind of goes with plot. I guess just in general, spoilers click off now. I'm not gonna spoil anything crazy. I am gonna talk about something crazy at the end, but I'll warn you guys. So I'm gonna talk about the villains. I think they're probably the weakest part of this game. There are two very good villains. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. M and N, I think, are really good. Of course, I'm not going to explain what those are, but Eminem's really good in this game. I like them a lot. I think their motives make sense. There's some other characters that kind of, it's like a twist thing. I'm not going to get into that. But overall, specifically the main villain that you see in the little theater, he's kind of weak, man. Especially coming off of Malos. Malos is a really damn good villain. And of course, Jin also in that game for a little bit there. And even like Mikhail and Petroka and Xenoblade 2, like the villains in 2 are so damn good, man. It was hard for them to top it. They kind of had an impossible task here to top the villains and just that grand villainous scale that Xenoblade Chronicles 2 had with Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So I would say out of everything, that's what they definitely missed the mark on. And kind of going back to the characters, as much as I love the cast of Xenoblade 2, and I will probably always prefer them over any other cast in a video game, I can definitely see why people would like the cast of 3 more than 2. I can see it. You know, there are characters in 2, specifically like Pyra and Mithra. I can understand not liking them. I think the cast of this game is very good. I just want to rectify that and run that home, because I in my preview video, I kind of was down on that. So yeah, the cast is really damn good. The villains, on the other hand, I think just feel a little lackluster. Now we're getting into plot stuff, and I guess I'll just say spoiler alert, major spoiler alert at this point. If you're watching right now, just assume that I'm gonna say the most insane shit, so be warned. Click off. Warning good? We're good? Okay, good. The plot is very sad. It is so sad. I'm not going to get into specifics again, just, you know, experience the game. But this game is really depressing. The entire thing is that these characters are kind of, they have 10 terms to live, and they're basically born to fight in these wars and feed these flame clocks for the Mobius, and it's this whole really, in-depth story. But basically, they are on timers. They are all going to die, and then be reborn, and then repeat the same cycle again, Groundhog Day shit, over and over and over again. There's a scene where one of the main 6 find their old dead body, and they're like, damn, what is going on? Because they don't know what's going on at first. They're like, wait, they're as clueless as we are at the start of the game. It's really sad. And the ending of the game is also very, very sad. Like, it's bittersweet, but also it's just kind of sad. Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2 have pretty happy endings overall. The ending of this game, spoiler. I'm not gonna say exactly what happened. There is no happy ending. There is no happy ending in this game. It's, like I said, I guess it's bittersweet, but it does not feel happy at all. And then we're 20 minutes in. One final thing I want to say. This is the ultimate spoiler warning. This is the ultimate spoiler warning. If you do not want to hear this, get out of here. At the end of the game, of course, Melia and Nia are in this game. They show a picture. Nia is looking at a picture. And it is a picture of the entire cast from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Rex is a grown-up in this picture. And he is standing behind 3 chairs. And there are 3 women sitting in front of him. Pyra, Mithra, and Nia. And he's holding both his arms on the chairs, you know, kind of spread out, kind of encompassing them within his grasp. All 3 of them have babies. Rex is an absolute Chad. I need to talk about this. This man did it all. He did all 3 of them. The entire plot of Xenoblade 2, he was always in love with Pyra, and then Mithra is kind of this whole thing. But then Nia loved him. Then you had the iconic scene in 2 where Nia says, I love you, and then Rex says, I love you too, Nia. I love all you guys. The most iconic scene of the entire series. He got all 3 of the girls. Absolute Chad. And you see the rest of the cast too, and you see Poppy, and it's just so good seeing these characters again. They kind of shaft Xenoblade 1. Melia looks at the Monado from Future Connected, but that's it. So I am very excited to see the DLC for this game next year. I'm hoping, I assume it's going to be on the same scale as Torna, maybe even bigger because they've had more time. I cannot wait for that DLC, guys, because I would be shocked. There's a moment earlier in the game where you see a statue, and they're talking about how these are the first Ouroboros, and it's Shulk. Shulk is one of the statues. So I'm pretty confident that the prequel DLC, assuming it's a prequel, I'm taking liberties here. You're gonna be playing as Shulk and Rex. I'd be surprised if you're not, especially based on the image for the season pass being the 3 blades. Oh, that's another thing, by the way, just quick. It's Xenoblade 1 and Xenoblade 2. The blade, the Monado, and the Aegis swords, or the Aegises, I guess I should just say, is the proper terminology there. That's like the main plot point. Noah's blade in this game doesn't really, like, it matters. It does. But not like that. Not on that level. Especially S2. I mean, blades were literally, like, the most commonly used word in that game. So, Noah's sword matters, but not nowhere near to the extent as the Monado or the Aegis. So, yeah. That is my review, I guess, of Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Just wanted to ramble at 4 a.m., get my thoughts out there. Pre-release. I am so excited for you guys to play this game tonight at midnight if you preloaded it, or tomorrow when you pick up your physical copy. And I will be playing with you again, because I'm going to start up New Game Plus and do all the quests and finish those last 2 heroes I missed and do all the side quests I missed, because there is a lot in this game, and I am tired, but I kind of want to just go play more. I might just pull an all-nighter, guys. I don't know. Of course, you can subscribe here for more Xenoblade Chronicles 3 content. I might do like a hero tier list or something. I think that could be fun. Maybe a more formal review too once I fully 100% it, get all the heroes and everything. And then of course all my Nintendo Switch news and coverage and just Nintendo news and all the reactions. You know what we do here, guys. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Of course, follow me on Twitter at BoTalksMedia as well. Join my Discord. Link to that is down below. I'm gonna go get some sleep. Peace.